concept of analytic privilege. Analytic privilege. So let's say, for example, each and every role, right? So like manager role, developer role, end user role, like that, each and every role, there are different roles, right? So sometimes they want to create some restrictions. Let's say we are having some view, right? So in that view, we are having different thousand different company codes, let's say. So this is the view, and in this view, we are having different company codes like 1000 data of different company codes like 2000 and 3000. Let's say for managers, they want the managers, right? Suppose if let's say, for example, this is the German company, this is a US company, and this is the France company, right? So in that case, what they want to do is like they want to create some restrictions. So in the master table, all the data will be there in the master table, right? In the master table, all the data will be there, but they want to this is the master table, but they want to create some restrictions. So when the German manager logs in, right, and so they want the German manager to see only the 1000 company code information, right? So similarly, US manager have to see only the 2000 company code information, and France manager has to see only the 3000 company code information. So, but in the master data, all company codes are there. The same thing can be applied for end users also. A particular end user, we have to give access only to 2000 particular company code, something like that. So these kind of we can restrict. Basically, we are trying to restrict the data a particular user can see, right? So this is the German manager. So this is the German manager. This is the US manager. This is the France manager, right? So there are different kinds of privileges, right? So the first step is, so these are the steps we are going to do today. First step is we will try to create an analytic privilege. We'll create the analytic privilege. We will create a role. And for this role, we can give different kinds of privileges, right? So we can give different kinds of privileges like we can give different kinds of privileges like for this role, we can assign different kinds of privileges like object privilege. So these are the different kinds of privileges. Object privilege. Object privilege is used to access the schema. This is used to access the schema. We have to give access at the schema level. And package privilege. Package privilege, we have to give access to packages. All right. And we also have analytic privilege. Analytic privilege is for to access the data, right? To access the data. Analytic privilege. And we also have system privilege. System privilege to access the system related activity, right? To access system activities like backup recovery, right? Like backup, recovery. All these comes under the system. So these are the different types of privilege. So all these different types of privileges can be assigned to a role, right? So all of them can be assigned to a particular role. And third step is, so we will create, we will um, we will create analytic privilege, we'll create a role, and we'll create a user. Third step is create a user. Fourth step is to assign the role to user. We will assign the role to user. And fifth step is we will log in as new user that we created. Log in as new user and check the data. So these are the steps we are going to do today. First, we'll create the analytic privilege. So creating analytic privilege means based on what view, right? So let's say this is some view. This is some analytic view. This is an analytic view. And in this analytic view, all the information is available. 1000 company code information, 2000 company code, and 3000 company code. All this company's information is available in this analytic view. So for this analytic view, we'll try to create the analytic privilege. Second step is to create a role. And when we are trying to create a role, we can have all these different kinds of privileges. Object privilege to access the schema, package privilege to access the package, analytic privilege to access the data, and system privilege to access system activities like backup and recovery, right? So the system privilege will be only given to the basis consultants kind of people, right? So the developers and managers, they will not be given this system privilege because they won't be doing this backup recovery, these things. Fourth step is to assign the role, whatever the role we have created here, assign this role to the user. And fifth step is to test it, log in as the new user and check the data. If we try to create restriction for company code 1000, only 1000 company code information have to be displayed. If we create restriction for 2000 company code, only 2000 company code information will be displayed, right? Like that. So are we fine till this point?
Yeah, dear.
And a role is a reusable. A role can be, suppose if we create some manager role, this role can be assigned to all the managers, right? Or if we create a developer role, that role can be assigned to different developers. So a role is a reusable object, and a role can be assigned to many users, right? So let us try to log in. So let me log into our remote. So let me log into our studio here. So expand our HDB and let us try to filter our package. So let's try to filter our package here. So expand the package, and here let's see what we have here in this analytic view. So this is our analytic view. Okay, so let us try to create the restrictions for this view, right? So let's check the data preview, and let's go to the raw data. So here it is having all the different company codes, right? Like 1,000 company code, 3,000 company code, different company codes, 2500, all different company codes. Data is available here, right? So many different company codes, 2000, 2200. So many different company codes, 1100. So all the company codes data is available. So let's try to create the analytic privilege for this view. So whenever you want to create the analytic privilege, you can select the package, right click, select new, and here we have the option analytic privilege. So select that option. So let us name our analytic privilege as ANP underscore. Let's create some privilege, right? So ANP underscore, let me give it as developer. So let us try to create this analytic privilege. And here under the type, go ahead and try to select it as the classical analytic privilege. And select the next button. Expand the package. Select the analytic view. And for this view, we want to create the analytic privilege. So select the add button and select it and select the finish button. So that means for this view, we want to create the analytic privilege. So here, if you, here we are seeing some options here, right? Associated attributes restrictions. That means for which attribute you want to create the restriction. So select the add button. So all of these are the attributes, right? AT underscore company, AT underscore customer, AT underscore Mara. So all these three different attributes, attribute views we have. In that attribute view, on which field you want to create the restriction. So we want to create a restriction on our company code. So select the bookers, assign restrictions. So here if you observe on what value you want to create, right? What is the value you want to restrict? So if you select this drop down, you can see all the available company codes, right? So let us try to create a restriction for company code 3000. That means we want to see only the company code 3000 data. All these developers, we want all the developers, right, to see only the company code 3000 data. So select the OK button, right? So here, so this is the view. On this view, we want to create the analytic privilege, and on this field, we want to have the restriction, and we want to check. See, we want to display only the 3000 company code information. So select the save and activate. Select the request number and finish button, right? So the next step is to create a role. So when we try to, so we are done with the first step. So we have completed the first step, create analytic privilege. Now we have to create a role. So let's try to create a role, right? So whenever you want to create a role, you can expand this security. And here we are seeing roles, right? So all of these are the different roles available. So let us try to create a new role. So select the role, right click, new, or you can select the first option, new role, right? So we want to create a new role. So on what do you want to create, right? So you can select the so you can give a new name for the role, right? So let us give some role as a role name as this is the role for developers, right? So you can give some role name, so developers. So this role can be given to all the developers, right? So here these are the different kinds of privileges: system privilege, object privilege, analytic privilege, package privilege. These are the different types of privileges that we have discussed. So select the analytic privilege, and here we have to mention our analytic privilege. So this is the analytic privilege, right? ANP underscore developer. So we have to let us add that. So our analytic privilege name is ANP underscore developer. So this is our analytic privilege. So let us try to select the analytic privilege. You can also see the package name. In this package, we have created this analytic privilege. So select the OK button, right? And we also want to, we should also mention the package privilege. So select the package privileges. So for which package we want to give access, right? We don't want to give access to all the packages. So here we have to mention the package name. Package name is Z Madhuri. So this is the package name, right? So for this package, we want to give access for these developers. So this is the package name. Select it, and as soon as we give the package name here, right? So what are the privileges, right? So we want to give read privilege, right? Edit privilege, and to activate the objects in the package, right? And maintain the uh, objects in the package. So for this particular, in this particular package, we want to assign, give all these access, right? To read, to edit, to activate, and to maintain. So all of these we want to provide in this, for this particular package, right? So object privilege. So in the object privilege, we will have to give access privilege to certain certain system schemas, right? So select the plus button and uh, give the name here. We have to give access to different system schemas like sysbi, sysbic. So we have to provide access to these two schemas. And why do we have to provide access to these two schemas? Whenever we create a view, right? So in the background, it will create the column views in the background. So to have access to these column views, we should give, we should have privilege access to these two system schemas. So select those two, sysbi and sysbic, and select the OK button, right? And we also need access to another standard one called repository rest. Repository rest. So we also need access to this standard one. So to access the repository, basically, right? To access the repository, we need access to this standard repository, that is the repository rest. So select the OK button. So for this sysbi, for the sysbi, we can have the, where we need to have the select and the execute privileges, right? Select and execute. And for sysbic also we need to have select and the execute privilege. And for the repository rest, we would like to have the execute privilege. So these are the standard schemas and the repository we need to have access to, right? So in the we don't need to mention any system privileges because we won't be the developers or the managers, they won't be doing this backup recovery. Those are done by the basis consultants, right? So under the object privileges, we have mentioned the standard schemas, sysbi and sysbic and repository rest. And under the analytic privilege, we have mentioned the our analytic privilege name, right? And under the package privilege, we have mentioned the package name. So these are the different types of privileges we can provide, right? So go ahead and try to select the deploy button. So we got the message here, role developers is created. That means we have created one role called developers. So the next step is to create a user. We can create the user, and this role can be assigned to that user, right? So let's try to create a new user. So let us select the users. right click, new user. So username, let us give the username as Varun, and password, let me give it as capital W, welcome 123. And here we have to select the assign the role. We have to add the role for this user. We want to add the developer role. So select the plus button, and our role name is this is our role name, ANP underscore developer. So give that role name ANP underscore developer. Because he is a developer, we want to give the assign the developer role, right? So oh sorry, I think developers, our role name is developers. Developers is the role name, right? So this is the role, right? Select OK button. So for this user Varun, we have assigned this role called developers, right? So for all the developers, this role can be assigned, right? So once you do this, go ahead and try to activate, right? Could not create. Okay, confirm the password. Okay, let us try to confirm the password. Welcome 123, and now select the execute button, right? So we got the message user Varun is created. Now let us try to log in with this user and let us try to check. We have to do the testing, right? So select the system, right click, add system with different user. Username is Varun, password is welcome 123, and select the next button, right? And select the finish button. So another system with this user has been opened up. So here let us we have our analytic, we have created the restrictions on the analytic privilege, right? So select the expand the package content. So here if you observe under the content, only one package is there, right? So only one package is there because we have given only access to this particular package. That's why we are not able to see any other packages. So expand the package, and here under the analytic views, expand the analytic views. So this is our AN underscore revenues. So we have created the analytic privilege for this analytic view. So let us try to check the data preview of this. Check the raw data. See, what are we seeing here? We are seeing only the 3000 company codes, right? Only the 3000 company codes data is being displayed here. All the 3000 company codes, right? So all the other company codes, we were not able to see all the other company codes information because we have created the restriction. This user Varun, he can see only this is the username Varun, right? So he can see only the 3000 company code data because he is a developer, right? So like this we can create restrictions. We can create the analytic privilege. We can create a role, and for that role we can give different privileges, packet privilege, right? Analytic privilege. So all different kinds of privileges can be given, and that role can be assigned to a user. right? So yeah, any concerns still here? Any concerns in this concept?
No.
So these are the steps we did today. Create analytic privilege, create a user, create a role, create a user, assign the role to user, and log in as new user and check the data, right? So this is how this is the concept of creating the analytic privilege, basically to restrict the data. Depending on the user, it will restrict the data, right? So are we fine till here?
Vidya,
Hmm.
can we apply this concept for calculation view?
Yes. For calculation views
Why?
also.
Because when you created this thing, only analytic privilege is there to select. So,
No. Its name is analytic privilege, right?
okay,
But this can be applied for calculation views also. It can be applied for both analytic views and calculation views,
okay,
right? The name is analytic privilege, but it can be applied to both analytic as well as calculation views,
okay.
right? So one more thing I want to show you is how do you said you want to practice, right?
Yes.
So when you want to practice, what you can do is like you can go to the you can try to log into the ECC system, right? Try to log into the ECC system, and this is the ECC system, and username and password are same, capital BAN, welcome 123. So here you can see the relation between different tables, right? So you can also go to um, you can also go to Google and check. You can give like this, material standard tables, right, in SAP ABAP. Or you can use standard tables in MM module. In MM module, if you go, you can see all the material related standard table, right? MARA, MARC, MARD, MARM. So all of these are the material related uh, standard tables, right? So when you want to take out different examples, what you can do is, so you try to open all these tables. Obviously, for all these tables, material number will be the common field, right? So you can try to create you basically in the analytic views or calculation views, what we are trying to do, we are trying to take different tables and we are trying to apply create a report or something like that, right? So if you want to know the relation between the tables, you can try to give in Google, or if you want to standard tables for sales orders in SAP. If you give like this, it will give all the, see, VBAK, VBAP, VBRP, VBAG, right? VBRK. So it will give all the sales orders related related tables, and obviously sales order number is the common field in all these tables, right? So like that you can try to find out like standard tables for next you give purchase orders in SAP, right? So you can get all the see list of SAP purchase order tables. So you can find the relation like this between different tables, and you can use those tables for your practice purpose. when you are trying to practice. See, all of these are the different list of tables. See, EKKO, EKPO, right? EKBE. All of these are the different tables that are related to purchase orders. So like this, you can take some related tables, right? So similarly, you can also see all of these are the tables: EBAN, EBKN, EBUB, EANA, EANE, right? So all of these are the purchase order related tables. So like this, you can see SAP purchase order details and descriptions. So basically, you can find the relation between different tables, and obviously purchase order number will be the common field in all these different tables, right? So like that, you can find the relation, different related tables, and you can do your practice. You can take different tables and you can try to practice. And suppose if you standard tables for flight details in SAP. So you will get all the flight tables, right? SPFLI, SCARR, all of these are the SAP flight tables. S flight, all of these are the standard tables that are related to flights. See, all of these flights, right? Flight B for bookings, flight TM, right? Flight P, plan data, S flight, SPFLI, right? S book, flight bookings, S custom, bookings, S flights. So all of these are the different tables, flight related tables, S ticket, S meal. So all of these are the different standard tables that are related to flights, and these tables are used in the transport management module, TM, transport management module, right? So like this, you can find the relation between different tables, and you can take those tables for your examples and you can use them. Similarly, standard tables for vendors. Vendor details in SAP. You can see all the vendor related tables like LFA1, LFB1, LFAS, LFB5. Like this, you can get different combination of tables, related tables, right? All of these are the vendor related tables. So many tables will be there, right? So you try to take different tables and you try to use them for your examples, right? Similarly, company details, right? And then you can check the contract details, contract details in SAP, contract related tables, right? All of these are the contract related tables. So for contracts information, right? So all these different tables you can check and try to use them for your examples. Yeah. Any